God bless you. This is Pastor Fields, pastor of the Free on the Inside Civic Ministries. This message is looks like it might really bless somebody, because this is my third attempt at making this video. Anyway, I was thinking about fatherhood, and I was thinking about being a man, and learning what it means to be a man, and ultimately how hard it is to be a man. It can be very difficult being a man. Now, women, don't y'all get offended. We're not talking about you. We talking about me today, right now. We talking about being a man, and it gets difficult sometimes. I'm thankful that for as long as I can remember, my father has been in my life and is in my life, and I've had an example. I've had an example of what to do and sometimes what not to do. I'm thankful that I don't have the testimony of, well, my father wasn't there and I never knew my father. I'm thankful that I don't have that testimony. I'm thankful that I can look at an example, and a good example, of what manhood is and what it means to be a man. I remember when I wanted to learn how to drive, and I was a little fella, and we were over at a restaurant, and I had seen my father operate the vehicle so many times. Well, I don't remember, but he told me the story, and I was a little whippersnapper, and I reached over there and I guess fired the car up and threw the thing in gear, and the car, I ran into a bus, a CTA bus, and I thought about that isn't it ironic how something that can later be a blessing in our lives, if given too soon, or if granted access to that same thing too soon, can become a curse. We drive cars back and forth to work. A lot of us make a living or a partial living off Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, things of that sort. So that car becomes a blessing to us and to our families. But if it's given too soon, good God Almighty, it can become a curse. I think about fatherhood, and I think about Superman. I think about a lot of times when you look at your father and you look at your mother, you love your mother and you want your mother's approval, you want her attention, you want her to say, son, I love you. But it's something about when your old man say, boy, all right, that's good, you did something good there, that was smart. It makes you stand up straight. It does something for you to have your father's approval. It does something for you for your father to say, hey man, I'm proud of you. And I think about Superman, because Clark Kent wasn't Superman. Superman was really Clark Kent. And the one thing about real Supermen is you have to know your kryptonite. Real men know what their kryptonite is. We don't have to go through different forms of kryptonite, but real men know what their weaknesses are, and they work on their weaknesses. Sometimes you fall victim to it. Hey, you like what you like, you dig? But you know what your weaknesses are, and you work on your weaknesses. You work to be better. You work to overcome. You don't sit around and cry about everything and blame, everybody. You have some people that no matter what you do, no matter how you try to encourage them, they gonna find something wrong with it. I heard B.B. King sung a song, and I'm gonna paraphrase it, but he talked about, he gave a woman, bought an expensive dinner. Said the woman said, thanks for the snack. Said he brought the woman to his penthouse, and she said, oh, this ain't nothing but a shack. BB said, I gave you, I think he said, 7 children. Now you want to give them back. Some people are just not going to be satisfied. Some people you just not going to be able to please. But you know what? Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. So it's important that we keep it real with ourselves. It's important that we're honest with ourselves and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to mess with this, because if I start messing with this, I'm not going to be able to shake it. If I take part in this, I'm not going to be able to get rid of it. I think about our brother Samson. And Samson had Delilah. You know, y'all heard the story. And Samson got with Delilah and got to playing with the woman. You know, first of all, he wasn't even supposed to be dealing with this type of woman. He wasn't. He was eating honey out of a lion's carcass. He wasn't supposed to be touching dead animals. He wasn't supposed to have been drinking wine. He's supposed to let his hair grow. He wasn't supposed to have been affiliating with Philistines. So many things that he did. It's like he was trying to see how close he can get to the edge without falling off. And sometimes we do that. It's like we're self-saboteurs. It's like we're sabotaging ourselves unconsciously or subconsciously. So I want to encourage you, men, to stand up and be accounted for. Some of you men, you know, you haven't talked to your children in 20, 30 years, you know, and you're saying, well, hey, you know, I love them, and, you know, I'm trying to get myself together. Then I'm going to reach out to my shawty, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, hey, if at all possible, reach out now. You know, sometimes, you know, you have some of these old wicked children's mothers, and they do all kind of things and say all kind of negative things about you and to the child, to try to cause that child to be against you. But I want to encourage you, fellas, to even pray for your children's mothers. Pray for them. Pray that God would touch their hearts. Pray that God would give them peace. You know, because sometimes we've done some things to cause these women to be angry. We've done some things to cause these women to have some attitudes and to be disappointed. You know, so let's be honest with ourselves. Let's know our kryptonite and let's show up, you know. God bless you, brothers. This is Pastor Fields. I approve this message. Follow me and I'll follow you. And remember, it's dangerous to be a lost sheep.